Hello and welcome to the first episode of ANetP, the Advanced Networking Podcast. My name is Felix Bultmann and I would like to introduce you in this and the upcoming episodes to network troubleshooting tools, network analyzers, as well as advanced network theories and protocols. I hope you enjoy watching these videos and would be more than happy about comments and topics I should talk about in the upcoming videos. By the way, you can subscribe to ANetP on the website anetp.org. Our topic for today is tcpdump, a very powerful command line packet analyzer which gives us the ability to see what is going on in our network. We are going to talk about basic operations and options of tcpdump and how we can start capturing packets. After this introduction, we are going to create our first very simple filter to be able to reduce the few to things we are really interested in. So, let's dive in. I'm connected to one of my Linux servers, and the first thing I would like to do is to figure out in which folder tcpdump is installed in. For this, I use a tool called whereis, and I'm searching for tcpdump. Here we go. As we can see, it is installed in user sbin tcpdump. The next thing I would like to figure out is which interfaces are on this machine and can be used by tcpdump. For this, I will start tcpdump. With the option capital D. As we can see here, I have three interfaces where tcpdump can scan for traffic. That would be the ANet0, ANY, which is just a pseudo interface for capturing traffic on all interfaces, as well as loopback. Because I don't want to type /user/sbin/tcpdump all the time, including sudo, I will create an alias for that. Alias tcpdump equals sudo user/sbin/tcpdump. Alright, and now I can just type in tcpdump to start my first capture. That is the first traffic capture we are doing. And as you can see, it's a lot of traffic. Yes, so I cannot really point out which packet I'm looking at. And what I see here is mainly SSH traffic because I am connected via SSH to my Linux server. So just typing in tcpdump is not enough. Let's see how I can reduce that few. First tcpdump, of course, with the option nn, meaning I don't want to see any host names and I don't want to see any service names. Then the option I for the interface. So I will define on which interface I would like to scan for traffic. In this scenario, it is the ANet0. And I will choose a filter like ICMP. So I will just see ICMP packets. As we can see, there are no ICMP packets. So let me just ping my server. And now, let's go back to that capture. We can see ICMP request as well as ICMP reply. This is our very first filter. So let's expand our filter a bit. I will use tcpdump, the old command, and I will say it should be ICMP or UDP. All right. Now I can see if somebody is doing a DNS request to that server, but not right now. So let me create some traffic, some UDP traffic. For this, I'm going to use a tool called netcat. And I start a listening socket on port 1234, and that is going to be UDP. And now I will send a UDP packet, where is it? To my Linux server. Here we go. And now we should see this in our tcpdump. As I mentioned before, we have UDP traffic in here, as well as traffic to port 1234. Where can I see what kind of traffic is passing through? what kind of ports we are using. In this case, we see that is my destination IP address, including that port. So that would be 195.20.224.234 as an IP address, and port 53, which is DNS. And down here, we can see our connection to port 1234. Yep, so that is our first capture. We see DNS traffic as well as our own service traffic 1234. Now let's imagine we are just interested in traffic on port 1234, because I would like to see if that server is reachable. I would like to see what's going on in that network. So let's expand this command. UDP, so it's ICMP or it's UDP port 1234. You will understand why I'm putting ICMP in here as well. I need to change my SUDO timeouts. Alright, the tcpdump now is running. Now let me try to connect via UDP port 1234. Alright. What we can see now is the initial packet, the UDP packet, from this source address, this destination, this source port, to this destination address, and this destination port. But I didn't start my listening socket on this machine. So my server will send the information ICMP port or UDP port 1234 is unreachable. And this is an ICMP packet. So sometimes it's very smart to have ICMP in that filter as well. So now we learned how to create filters for protocols like ICMP or UDP. In addition, we learned how to use ports, specific UDP ports. You can do the same as TCP. And let's create a filter based on host names, or actually IP addresses. So let me get rid of the old filter. And now we define host. Has to be this IP address, which is my IP address right now. And it should not be port 22, which would be SSH traffic. That would be too much information. Here we go. And now I can start, for example, a ping, or set my UDP packet again. I can ping linux sec.de. And we can see all this traffic coming from my IP address towards this server. Now we're coming to the end of that podcast. What we have learned today, or what we have seen today, is how to find out where tcpdump is installed at. We have seen how to figure out on which ports tcpdump can listen on with the option D, capital D. We have seen the option NNI, meaning I don't want to see any host names or service names, and please use the interface, in our case, VENet0. We created filters for protocols like ICMP or UDP. We created filters for UDP ports and host names. In addition, what we have seen is the usage of alias, as well as netcat, a tool which we will use fairly often during the next podcasts. And we have seen why it's a good idea to define the right timers for your SUDO. I hope you like what you have seen today, and yeah, feel free to comment these videos, and hope to see you soon.